So now friends, we are moving towards the last section of this chapter, common examples of routine and positive messages. What are the common examples of routine and positive messages? Let's see. So, answering requests for information or action, grants of claims and requests for adjustment, recommendations, routine information messages, good news announcements, and goodwill messages. One by one, answering requests for information or action. So, what are we supposed to do when you are being asked to provide something or you are being asked to take an action? This is something we are trying to understand. One by one again, answering requests for information or action, your response should be prompt enough. It should be gracious. You are being requested. Be humble. Your action or the answer should be thorough, complete. Answer all questions. Leave good impression. Encourage a future sale. Encourage a future communication. Grants of claims and requests for adjustment. Granting claims and requests for adjustment. What is this claim and request for adjustment? I have already shared with you in the previous section. You couldn't board a flight. The flight was cancelled. You want to return something which you have bought. Why? Because the product is not appropriate, is not fit for usage. So, what are you supposed to do if such requests are being made and now you are on the other side of the table? So, what are you supposed to do? You are supposed to interpret policy, tell them about the policy and try to determine the fault. Who is at the fault? Company may be at fault, means your company is at fault. Acknowledge the claim or complaint, very simple. Sympathize with the customer, simple. Take responsibility for the outcome. Explain your plan of action. What are you going to do? Work to repair the relationships. Because of this mistake of the company, you may lose a loyal customer. So, repair the relationship and follow up on your response. If customer is at fault, then you may be required to refuse the claim or grant the claim. When can you refuse the claim? When you understand that the cost of adjustment is exorbitant and it's not possible for the company to go ahead. It's going to cost a business heavily. You may be agreeing to grant the claim when you feel that the customer is really important and you want to keep this customer with you. What can you do? You can tell them how to deter mistake, how to avoid this mistake in a future. This is customer at fault. Prior to this, we have understood something related to company at fault. Now, customer at fault. Now, third party at fault. Assess the situation. It's neither your mistake nor the mistake of the customer. Assess the situation. Offer solutions. What can you do? How much can you accommodate? Please avoid blame game. You are not supposed to blame the customer in any fashion. Or maybe there is no point in talking about the third party. Making claims and request adjustments is a checklist. Maintain a professional tone. If you are extremely frustrated, still open with a straightforward statement of the problem. Provide specific details in the body. Present facts honestly and clearly. Polite Shortly summarize the desired action in the closing. Clearly state what you expect as a fair settlement or ask the reader to propose a fair adjustment. Explain the benefits of complying with a request such as your continuing patronage. Now the third thing is about recommendations. What kind of recommendations? We have already understood about this, providing recommendations in references. In the previous section, I have shared something about when you are asking others to provide recommendation for you. Now you are providing recommendations requested by others for them. So nowadays it's not being treated as routine as it used to be, but still you may get such kind of requests. Have raised some complex legal issues in the recent years, so be very careful about it. And before writing a letter or providing information about a former employee, somebody was working with you, now left your company, is willing to join some other organization, the other organization has asked for your recommendation. So before writing a letter or providing information about a former employee, make sure that you understand your company's policy, what your company is allowing you to do, how much you are in a position to write about the person. So recommendations about the candidate. So if it's about the candidate, then understand what is the objective, why this recommendation is required, why this recommendation letter is being asked. Explain your relationship with the person, provide evidences. If needed, you may compare this person with others also. Like, he was one of the best employees, I like to put him in 10% way good fellow workers, and then give your evaluation. Yeah, he is most suitable, he is good, etc., etc. Then the fourth section is about routine informational messages. You are required to share a lot of information within the organization. So what kind of informational message it may be? So it's like sharing routine information, like updates. DA has increased. Now the office timing is going to change. Tomorrow the office will remain closed. New software is being updated, etc., etc. Give the status. What are they supposed to do? What the company is going to do? Provide policies and procedures. What is the policy and what is the procedure? Second last is good news announcement. What is this good news announcement? Like facilities. The company has extended few more facilities for the fellow workers, for executives, going to launch new products, or going to provide new services for the customers. So how should you announce? Again, we have 3-step writing process. So be very careful and understand your audience and prepare this message. And then finally, friends, we have goodwill messages. What kind of goodwill messages we may have? Like relationships, you want to strengthen relationship. You want to provide information. You want to humor the other person, entertain. So, like congratulate. Your supplier, your buyer is having another feather in his cap or her cap, congratulate them. Appreciate. They have done something good for your company. They have placed a good order for your company. Appreciate. Condolences. Yes. Friends, what can you do if there is a situation in which you are supposed to send condolence? Somebody lost someone in his or her family, or the family has lost someone who was working with you. So you have to write condolence. 3 things are really important. 1, this message should be short, simple and sincere. Nothing else.